Hey guys, it's Miss Russell. I'm ready to show you how to finish our radial symmetry snowflake. We were turning into a mosaic. A mosaic is a creation that's made by putting small pieces of objects together to make your picture. Your pieces, they should not touch each other, so cut them smaller if you need to. Last week I showed you a stepping stone mosaic, and this is with concrete. This one over here, this is a grouted mosaic. So this really light color, this sandy color here, this is what we call grout, and the grout holds it all together. You can't let your pieces touch each other because the grout has to completely surround everything to hold it together, which is why in our paper one, we want to not let the pieces touch each other so that it will be similar to an actual mosaic. This mosaic was made with plastic beads and glass marbles. So, our mosaic. Last week you did all of the outlines. So really you just have the snowflake on your picture, and we're ready to fill in some of the areas of the snowflake. You won't have a lot of the snowflake to fill in, but really it's around that snowflake that we're gonna work on the most. Please don't forget that we're doing radial symmetry, so things need to match. I need to be able to divide this paper in half. Everything that is up here is also down here. Same colors. So if I use white here, I have to use white up there. To finish your piece, well, last week I had you take your colored paper, whether you had colored construction paper or if you had magazines. I asked you to cut that paper into really small lines and then cut them even shorter. And they were all pretty much straight pieces. Well, today we're gonna switch it up and we're gonna use what's called irregular shapes. So if you look at these guys, sure, some of them are triangles and your different geometric shapes, but in general, they're all just different straight-edged shapes. So to do that, I took my paper. I like to fold it in half, so I'm cutting two pieces at once, and then go ahead and cut down that seam. You don't want them together. But now I'm going to try and cut different directions so I get different shapes. Cut all that up, make a pile, and then we're ready to start. I started by filling in any of the areas that I could of my snowflake, but if there was nothing, if it was too small, then I wouldn't have anything to fill in those spots, so then I would just work around it. If I was trying to fill this white piece of paper in with my orange shapes that I just made, first, I would take my glue and I'd make some itty bitty dots. Don't use puddles or lines. And I just kind of randomly put my glue dots on. And now it's like a puzzle. I'm gonna try and fit these pieces together. Sometimes I'm gonna have to cut pieces. So this one has a real nice straight edge. So I'm gonna take it and put it close to the edge of my paper without letting it touch and not letting it touch. And now I've got this tiny little space here, and I'm gonna play with this and see if I can get something to fill in. Once again, it's not touching any of the sides and it's not touching my other piece. And I'm just gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna keep looking for pieces that I can get super close together, but they're not touching each other. Every now and then, you might have to cut pieces to make them fit. So if I'm trying to put this in here, but it's just too big, I can always cut it a little smaller, and then it's gonna fit in there better. So I want you to take your time, fill in around your snowflake. If you can fill in inside the snowflake, please do that. And then send me your work either on Artsonia or our Google Classroom.